All right, this is the best Larry Bird Mamba mentality story ever told. You guys told me to react to it. Let's get straight to it.
Created an alter ego for himself, the Black Mamba. He embodied a spirit that became a cultural phenomenon.
So Kobe has to deal with these issues, all the personal challenges. The Black Mamba steps on court and does what he does.
The Mamba mentality, an intense focus and relentless approach in preparation and competition, or as Kobe would describe it,
fuck everyone. I'm destroying everybody that step on the court.
Yeah.
Guess who Larry Bird's favorite basketball player is?
Kobe was always my favorite since I got out.
I don't like that, by the way.
But Kobe is one of the toughest human beings I've ever seen, because I know what he's been through, and he's played a hell of a lot more minutes than me.
Yeah.
And he just finally figured out, hey, I'm going to get hurt. I'm just going to have to play through it. And that's the mentality of a great player.
If you could have picked any current player right now to play with for an entire season, who would you pick?
Probably Kobe, because the fact that he's, well, of course he wouldn't have been shooting as much as he does now.
Yeah, you would have had to talk with him.
His desire to win, his dedication in the offseason to get better, and he's just tough. He's just a tough cat. But if you want to have fun like I did with Bill Walton, you play with LeBron.
Really?
It'd been probably more fun to play with LeBron, but if you want to win and win and win, it's Kobe.
I'm just saying, my hero, Kobe. He said it. The great legend himself, the GOAT himself. One of the GOATs. Larry Bird said it. All right, let's go. I just had to soak it in and appreciate it, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Kobe's my hero, so
Now, if you know anything about Larry Bird, then you should not be surprised that he picked Kobe Bryant over LeBron James, because Larry Bird had that same Mamba mentality that Kobe had way before Kobe coined the phrase. And it all started after Larry Bird had a bad experience as a freshman at Indiana University, causing him to drop out of college after only 2 weeks on campus. To everyone's surprise, Larry had given up his basketball career and gone back to his hometown of French Lick, Indiana, to become a garbage collector?
They talk about the garbage. In French Lick, it takes you about half a day to pick up all the garbage, so that was a very small part. But you know what, Mark? It's a job. I never thought I was too good to do anything. I'd do it today if I had to. But a lot of things were cutting trees down, painting curves, cleaning the streets, laying asphalt. We did everything.
But when Bill Hodges, the head coach of Indiana State, went to French Lick to meet Larry Bird for the very first time, he said one thing to Larry that struck a nerve so hard that it made Larry change his mind from being a garbage collector to being a cold-blooded killer on the court. And Larry's first victims were Indiana State's starting five.
You know, when I got to Terre Haute, Bob King, he asked me what I knew about players in the state, and when Larry was a junior, he wasn't very big then. He was about 6'3", but I guess he's grown quite a bit since then. I saw him play in the All-Star game. That he's really good. He said, well, let's go get him. And I got a hold of a kid that had played high school ball. He was a senior when Larry was a junior. He was one of Larry's best friends. He went home and talked Larry to coming up there to visit, and I think he had Kevin Carnes with him and 2 or 3 other kids, and they came out and played against our best 5 players, and they wore their jeans. I tried to give him a pair of shorts to wear, he wouldn't wear them, and they went out and just whooped our guys in their blue jeans. They didn't just beat them, they wore them out.
This mentality is one of the rare traits that only a select few of the all-time greats had. And when Kevin Pritchard, who played 6 years in the NBA, was asked about his most memorable experience, Larry Bird's mentality was at the top of the list.
Pritchard with 1 second, he'll pop for 3. It counts! Kevin Pritchard, as if he knew it all along.
Well, I mean, I played for the Celtics and Larry Bird. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. You know, seeing him on a daily basis, seeing how he saw the game, how it came so easy, and how just such a masterful player he was. I think the thing you know about Larry is that he's ultimately super confident, right? I mean, he knows he's going to make the shot, and And I kid with people all the time about that, and I try to explain how I see it, how his confidence is. And I think the way I would explain it is this. If aliens were coming down to the earth and they said, listen, We're going to give you one shot to make one free throw. Or else, if you make it, Earth goes on living. You miss it, we destroy the Earth. The thing I would do is I would hand the ball to Larry Bird. Larry would make the free throw, and he'd go, where are we going for lunch?
Yeah.
It wouldn't
Wow.
be a big deal.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he does that, but he's just got this ability to take all the clutter, all the noise out, and just play basketball or see basketball.
See,
And
this is the thing. It's not me, it's my computer that's literally, it's like lag inputs. I gotta figure out how to fix that. But it has a lot of lag inputs. So I'm not purposely just trying to stop on where points. Like, it has a delay of me pausing it at the right time. So that's all that is. But clearly what he's explaining is that Larry Bird was a confident shooter when it came to pressure. When it came to pressure, he welcomes it. He knew how to time. He knew how to separate the outside noise, basically.
No, I don't know how he does that, but he's just got this ability to take all the clutter, all the noise out, and just play basketball or see basketball. And to me, that's a special, special talent. You know, everybody tries it. I'll give you another example. We go down to his ranch and we throw beanbags, you know, cornhole toss, right? Mm-hmm. And the guy is world class, and he turns into he just kind of plays for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it gets close. He becomes, I'm telling you, I would put him against anyone in the universe at doing it, because he'll go 4 in a row, 4 in a row, 4 in a row, and I don't know how he can turn that on like he does. It's an amazing gift that he's been given, and you know what? To be honest with you, he takes full advantage of it too.
Yeah.
He's one of those kind of guys to me that whatever his ceiling is and whatever he does, he's going to hit it.
And as soon as Larry Bird stepped on a college basketball court, his opponents could already tell that Larry Bird was just on another level. Like the first time when Bill Lynch, as a senior at Butler University, played Indiana State when Larry Bird was just a sophomore.
This is true. My senior year, we played him twice. We were playing Indiana State home and home back in those days. And he was a sophomore, and he just beat our brains out, to tell you the truth. The very first time we played him, it was like one of the first possessions down the court, and I got switched off on him. So the ball goes up. I went to block him out, you know, like fundamental, and the ball came off, and I remember going up to get it, and the next thing I know, I saw this big arm come over the top, and he slammed that ball down so hard, I think the ball hit the floor, came up and hit me underneath the chin. I bit my tongue. I turned around, and there's 33 running the other way, and that was probably his first 2 of 40-some that night. But he was, looking back at it, though, I think we even knew that night we left. You know, we played against a guy that's as good as you could ever play against. And scouting reports back in those days weren't quite the way they are today. It was a little bit of, you went in before the game, and the coach says, okay, Lynch, you got 25, and Burris, you got 32, and we were just playing man-to-man defense. And we went through the season. Then our last college basketball game, my final game I played at Butler, it was at Hinkle, and it was Larry Bird and Indiana State coming back in. And so we were ready for him that night. He got 47 on us that night, and he could have scored 70. Of course, that was back before the three-point shot. But we played against a lot of really good players, but there was no one like Larry. I mean,
Wait. I just noticed that. There's no three-point line shots. There was no three-point line shots. That I'm not used to seeing that at all. That is weird.
He was so good, and he could do anything he wanted on the court.
That day, Larry Bird, as a sophomore, set Indiana State's single-game scoring record against Butler. This record only lasted for 2 years, because on February 25th, 1979 versus Wichita State, Larry Bird broke his own record and set a mark that has not been broken for 45 years and counting.
This is the first time that Indiana State Sycamores have ever been on national television. And are they ready? They think they're number one. And they hope to prove today by remaining undefeated that they are number one. That's the man, Larry Bird. Galosinski. The jump against Gilbert and Bird.
Uh-oh, look at that. Started off. Started
He
off.
had the best hand-eye coordination, maybe, of anybody that ever played basketball. And that's why he was so good with his anticipation, both offensively and defensively.
Tip off Larry Bird. There you saw the passing ability of Larry Bird, supposed to be the best passing forward in basketball in some time.
But even though Larry Bird was the best passing forward in college basketball, instead of putting on a passing clinic, he decided to put on a shooting one.
He's having quite a game. He's that ball. Bird goes up and puts
Oh, yeah, this guy's crazy.
Get out your
His college
calculators, men.
highlights crazy.
They want it. Larry Bird off the backboard. Getting into gear now. Bird.
Oh,
off
my
the corner.
God.
Is he the best collegiate player in the country? Many people say he certainly is.
There wasn't anything he didn't think he could do on the basketball floor. Our game plan was to get the ball in his hands as much as possible, and he made good things happen.
Bird almost lost that ball out of bounds. Now takes a shot. Oh, my. There's one.
Punk faked. As he was going to throw it, he turned and then created an open turn in it to drain the shot. Oh, my God.
Your face. Here's where you catch Larry Bird. Watch him put the ball in the face. There, fake it in the face, then now watch him shoot it. Unbelievable. You know how far away it is? That's in left field.
By halftime, Larry Bird already had 22 points. But just imagine if he had a three-point line to go with it.
Facts, that's what I was going to say. He was shooting in line, shooting in spaces where they didn't have that three-point line. Let's go.
They win their 26 in a row. Larry Bird from way outside.
Unbelievable outside shooter.
Indiana State has scored in spurts. Oh, here's a long one again.
It seems that the further out he is, the more high percentage he puts the ball in.
This guy's crazy.
Look out.
Another drain.
39 points by my count.
And as Indiana State started pulling away, everyone knew that they were witnessing something special.
Bird comes up with it, puts it up, and it is
Scoring that much in a college team, bro.
Well,
Crazy.
he's got 41 points already. He's putting on quite a display. Knicks shooting high. Bird is there.
Getting rebounds.
There are the statistics on Larry Bird. 4 more points and he'll have an all-time high. And he would have saved it for national television when his team is on.
There's somebody out there that's unforgettable, unflappable, unselfish, and unstoppable. And I don't know who it is, but I think that person will receive the most valuable player today.
We'll think about it. Well, let's say we've got it. Larry Bird, $1,000 comes to Indiana State in his name. And one of many commendations he'll have before his collegiate and professional careers are over.
Wow.
Student body wants Larry Bird to have the ball.
He's got the ball.
Another shot.
Larry Bird with 49 points at all-time.
Blew them out. Blew them out. They were 70-some points and blew them out with about at least 27 points, I think.
And to think Larry Bird, one of the greatest players of all time, almost gave up his basketball career before it even started. But what exactly did Coach Bill Hodges say to Larry Bird the day they met to make Larry change career paths and play basketball at Indiana State? Well, I'll let Bill Hodges tell you exactly how it went down.
So, 2 days after I was in Terre Haute, we went to French Lick. And everybody had tried to recruit him, but nobody had been able to get very far with him. He had kind of a bad taste in his mouth. He didn't know what he was going to do, though. And we found his high school coach, so he took us over to meet Larry, and Larry wasn't there, and his mom said, "You coaches are just driving him crazy. Why don't you just go away and leave him alone?" Bam, she closed the door. Gary said, "Wow, she must have had a bad day because she's normally real nice."
But one slam door wasn't enough to stop Bill Hodges, so he drove around French Lick, Indiana, until he could find Larry Bird himself.
So we drove around town and took Gary back. He said, "If you come back in a couple of days, I'll round Larry up and you can get to talk to him." Dan said, "Well, let's go back to Terre Haute." I said, "No, no, I'm from Zionsville. Zionsville's about the same size as French Lick. We're going to find Larry. I said, you know, hey, there aren't too many places you can hide a 6'8" guy in a town like this. And we drove around for a while, and I made a right turn and started down the street, and we were passing a laundry where you go in and wash your clothes.
Yeah.
And here comes this big blonde kid out of there, and I said, there he is right there. And I pulled in. He said, you think? I said, there can't be two of them in this town. And I got out and introduced myself. He wouldn't shake hands because he had been working on his truck, and he was carrying a basket of clothes, and he put it in the car, and you know, I started talking to him about, you know, we'd like to talk to you about Indiana State. And he said, well, I'm busy working on my truck right now. I just don't think I have time right now. And his grandmother, she heard me talking with him. So she come around there, and she said, Larry, these nice fellows were, you know, they took their time to drive all this way to see you.
Wow.
Invite them up to the house for some iced tea. Oh, Granny, I'm working on my truck. Larry? And that was all there was to that. He didn't say anymore. So we followed him up there, and she fixed his tea, and we sat and talked with him.
This golden opportunity was almost ruined by Bill's assistant, because what he didn't know was, just like on the basketball court, Larry Bird was not above doing the dirty work.
We kept talking, and he was telling us about working for the city. I said, what do you do? He said, well, you know, each day of the week is different. You know, we paint the curbs one week, and we might pick up dead limbs and maybe plant flowers or in the parks on Tuesday, and then we do this Wednesday, and on Thursday we pick up garbage. I said, do you drive the truck? He said, hell no, Sam drives the truck. I work on the back. and you know, it kind of kept going there. And so Stan had kind of said, well, you want to work on a garbage truck the rest of your life? And Larry kind of looked over and said, I kind of like the job. And I knew that wasn't making him happy. So I said, Stan, let's go. We got to get out of here. And let Larry get back to work on his truck.
Luckily, Bill Hodges was there to redirect the conversation, because if he wasn't, Larry Bird may have been content being a garbage collector for the rest of his life. Wow. Because out of all of the coaches and the recruiters that tried to get Larry to come to their school, Bill Hodges was the only person to connect with Larry, because they were both from small towns and had a lot in common. But then Bill said something to Larry that woke up a sleeping giant.
You know, we talked about playing AAU ball, which both of us had, and you know, we talked about baling hay, and you know, that's what he did during the summer. That's all I did during the summer, and we had a lot in common. You know, small towns, and you know, just we knew each other. You know, I was talking about recruiting. We had to have a point guard, and he said, "Well, you ought to get Kevin Carnes." He said, "My cousin Kevin Carnes, he was a senior when I was a junior. He said if he had gone to college, he'd have been a great player." And I looked at him and I said, "Larry, if you don't come and go to Indiana State with us, that's what they're going to say about you one day." And boy, that's the first time he looked me in the eye all day. And I knew I had him.
And when Bill Hodges came back to French Lick 2 days later and knocked on Larry Bird's door, Larry's mother answered again. But this time, she was singing a completely different tune.
You know, we headed back to Terre Haute, and I got all the papers we needed to get signed and filled them out and addressed the envelope to Indiana. And 2 days later, I drove down there and knocked on the door. His mother answered the door. She said, "Oh, come in, Coach. It's good to see."
Had a different tone.
Wow, is this a different reception?
She don't play with her son. That's what it is, man. She don't play.
And you know, Larry said, "How do you know I was going to sign? How do you know?" I said, "Well, if you're an intelligent kid, and this is the intelligent choice to make. So all you have to do is sign right here, and I'll mail it for you." And he signed it, and the rest is history.
Larry Bird went on to have one of the greatest college careers ever.
Bill, man.
And as a senior, he led a relatively unknown Indiana State team to a 33-0 record and a berth in the national title game, prompting some experts to say that Larry Bird was the greatest college player of all time.
Reed gets it to Heaton. Heaton the clutch. Left hand. He made it. 1 second to go. Heaton, second time he did it.
Dang.
Game is over. Bob Heaton keeps Indiana State undefeated.
His college was so good. Y'all were right. His college is just as good as, like, really good, just as his NBA career. Like, he was that guy. I didn't know as much as I know now over the week. He could have been a garbage man to this day.
Larry had to do more with less. I think, frankly, that Larry Bird getting...
By the way, there's nothing wrong with being a garbage man because they do make a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? They do make a lot of money. You know, take pride in what you do and continue to be great and find other ways to be great. All right, let's go.
More with less. I think, frankly, that Larry Bird getting the 1978-79 Indiana State team to the finals with a 33-0 record is the single greatest personal achievement in the history of college basketball.
I hear what you're saying about Kareem. I'm actually old enough. I got to watch Wilt Chamberlain play college basketball at Kansas, and it was the same impact where he was just unstoppable. But Shannon, you grew up a fan of one Larry Joe Bird. And I got to tell you, the harder I look at what Larry Bird did with an Indiana State team, well, Larry Bird basically picked 4 guys from Terre Haute and said, you guys come out here and let's go try to win the NCAA championship. And I've never seen anything like what Larry did. Larry Bird took them to 33-0. And when you look at what they did, again, I'm going to give, I know what you're talking about, most important. Yeah, I got it. But most important or most valuable to one season, man, what Bird did was just off the charts. We've never seen anything like that. It's just hard to go that far with that little, and Larry Bird did so much with so little.
I'll just have to say now, everybody's got their favorite player and everything, but there's no question at all who was the best player in NBA basketball. There is no doubt, and it's Larry Bird. I don't care. I'm prejudiced, maybe, but I mean, all-around player. Now, there'll never be. I don't think anybody will ever be like him.
Wow. Yo, if you, anyways, guys, if you guys enjoy, man, give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We're gonna continue to dive in a lot of the greatness, the great players, the history of NBA and all the other sports, and feel free to drop down below what you want me to check out. As far as long form documentaries, please give me some time because it do take a lot more time to do reactions to them, especially because I do work a part-time job, not just with YouTube. And so the weekends kind of look more strong for some of these long form documentaries that I'll be trying to pump out for you guys. But yeah, see you on the next one. Wow.